The FAU Career Center here in Davie. And today we're going to be discussing developing an effective resume and cover letter. So let's get started with our presentation. Okay. So developing an effective resume and cover letter presented by the FAU Career Center. Go around. So what are employers looking for when they're looking for talent in today's world? The 8 NACE competencies are what employers are saying that they're looking for, which are critical thinking and problem solving, oral and written communication skills, teamwork and collaboration, digital technology, leadership, professionalism and work ethic, career management, and global intercultural fluency. Resume must have. On your resume, you should have your full name and contact information at the top of the page. You should have your education and work experience listed in reverse chronological order, meaning your most recent to past. So you want to list that in reverse chronological order. Your dates must be written out with month and year for each job that you are listing on your resume, as well as your education. And I will definitely recommend no abbreviations. So if you're going to have Florida Atlantic University on your resume, I say spell that out and not print out FAU. Now everyone knows FAU, but everyone knows Florida Atlantic University. On your education section, you must list institutions that you graduated from in reverse chronological order. After your first or second year of college, high school should be removed. So again, you want to list your institutions that you graduated from in reverse chronological order. So your master's degree will go above your bachelor's degree will go above your associate's degree. The required things that you have on your education section are the name of your degrees, the name of the institution where you received your degree, location of the institution, meaning the city and state only. You don't need to put the address, just the city and state of the institution where you graduated from. The graduation date, for example, May 2020. You don't have to put the exact date of May 15th. You can just put May 2020. And some optional sections of the educational section you can include are your GPA, if it's 3.0 or above, any relevant coursework that you want to list on your resume, any academic honors that you received, and if you did a study abroad program. That's always good information to have on your resume. That's optional, but you can definitely include it on your resume as well. Your experience section. Your experience or an employment section must be listed in reverse chronological order as well. This section must include the company name, the company location, just the city and state is all you need, the position title, and the start and end dates. You have to put the exact date, but the month and year will be necessary. Experience does not necessarily mean paid employment. It can also include unpaid work experience, part-time or full-time work. Internships or co-op educational experience can be included. Any volunteer or community service experience can also be included in the experience sections, as well as any military experience. This is all experience that tells the story of who you are as a person and as a professional, and it can all be utilized on your resume. A chronological resume is the most common and preferred resume by employers. It's easy to follow the applicant's work history, and it's the best format to demonstrate growth of experience. And that is, again, the chronological resume. The other form of resume that people utilize is the functional resume. This resume is utilized to highlight specific qualifications and skills of an individual, and this uses the job postings of a blueprint to focus on 2 to 5 skills. Again, this is not the most common utilized resume, but it is a resume that can be used when you are showing that you have experience in one section of work, say managerial experience. The PAR exercise for writing bullet points, This is used to show accomplishments rather than responsibilities. PAR stands for problem, action, and results. To identify a problem in your job or company, for example, recruiting costs were extremely high. Then you want to identify the action you took to solve that problem. Research and identify free or low-cost sources for job applicants. Prepare a cost-effective recruitment directory. Then you want to show the results of that action. You reduce hiring costs over 60% in 6 months. So how would that look on your resume? Recruiting costs were extremely high. Research can identify free or low-cost sources for job applicants, which results in reducing hiring costs over 60% in 6 months. Again, that's called PAR. You want to identify the problem, show the action that you use to solve the problem, and show the results of that action. The so what rule. So when you're defining what you do on the resume, you don't want to say you did something. You want to show what you did and how you achieved it and what came from that. So instead of saying I created a marketing plan for an annual fundraiser, you want to say I created a marketing plan for an annual fundraiser that resulted in a net earning of $20,000. You want to show what you achieved, not just what you did, and you want to quantify the results of that, and you want to show the magnitude of that. Additional resume sections could include professional certifications or licenses, skills or abilities, clinical or specialized experience, publications or presentations, any additional training that you received, any memberships or affiliations that you belong to, any honors or awards that you received, any volunteer experience that you've done, any languages or computer skills that you have, any research experience that you've done, as well as any continuing education that you may have. All these are additional sections that you can include in your resume that would be enticing for an employer and will help you stand out above the people that you're applying against. Optimize your resumes for the applicant tracking system, the do's and the don'ts. You do want to use keywords and languages from the job posting on your resume. Applicant tracking systems are primarily used to help hiring companies collect, organize, and filter applicants. The applicant tracking system converts your document to a format that can be searched, filtered, and transcribed into a uniform digital applicant profile. Again, look at the job description of the job that you're applying to and use those keywords in your resume so that the applicant tracking system pulls your resume out and your resume stands out. So again, do use keywords and languages from the job posting within your resume. The more words that are found, the more likely you are to be passed the next step. Do use both long form and acronym versions of keywords. For example, MBA and Master of Business Administration. Some employers may use both or either form. Do not use tables or columns. This may result in missing sections or unsearchable merged words. Do not try and cheat the system by adding in white keywords. The employer will see this when they review your resume. Now, for cover letters for a job or an internship, you want to have at least 3 sections to your cover letter. The first section is the introduction section, why them. So you want to state the intention of your cover letter, include the position you're applying for, and how you learned about it. Tell the employer why you're interested in the position and the organization. Do your research on the company. This will definitely help you. The second is the why you section of the cover letter. Describe relevant skills and professional accomplishments that you have personally gained. Tying your skills and accomplishments to the qualifications and responsibilities of the job posting. And in closing, why together. Explain why you and the employer will be a great fit. Connect the dots for the employer about why they should hire you. And include the ways that you can contact, and include the ways that they can contact you in a final sentence or two. Even to close by showing your appreciation and thanking them. Those are the 3 sections that you should include in the cover letter. Again, the first section is why them, do your research. The second section is why you, and the third section is why together, and always end by telling them how they can reach you and by thanking them. And then that's it. That's the conclusion of our workshop.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Carl. That was super helpful.
Very welcome.
I'm gonna see if we have any questions.
Okay.
So far we don't have any.
Okay.
We did have a few people watching, but I do not see any questions. I'm trying to think if there's anything people. So, in the context of the pandemic and people losing their jobs and
Yes.
navigating this particularly tough market right now,
Sure.
is there any advice you have for people who have been laid off or furloughed for trying to get a new job and get back on their feet?
Okay. That's a very good question. I will always say continue to do your research and look at companies that are in fact hiring, because there are companies that are looking to hire people even during the pandemic. They're looking for people that can do remote or virtual work. And also, if you're looking for work, sometimes a right now job will take you a lot, will get a lot for you. It may not be your career job, but it could be your right now job to keep you, sane and motivated and to keep money coming in. So sometimes you want to think outside the box as far as what you can do. And sometimes it's okay to take a job that may not necessarily fall in line with what you have done in the past, but it's going to help you stay sane, help keep money in the house, and keep food on the table. So sometimes it's okay to take a job that may not be necessarily what you did as far as your career path.
Awesome. And then just because we did have a question about this previously.
Sure.
So what if someone doesn't have a lot of job experience, but like they do have a lot of volunteer experience? How do you recommend displaying that on a resume?
Okay, well, I would definitely recommend utilizing your resume to highlight that volunteer experience, especially if you've done that in a long-term or consistent basis. Because what happens is that volunteer experience, along with what experience you have as a professional, it tells a story of who you are as a person. It tells a story of who you are as a professional. So use that volunteer experience to highlight that experience on your resume. Again, because experience is experience. So if you have volunteer experience, if you have community service experience, if you have military experience, add those things to your resume because those things do tell a story of who you are as a person and who you are as a professional.
Awesome.
Don't shy away from the volunteer experience. Add it on your resume.
Awesome. And then these are just a few of the things that
Sure.
are in my head as
Feel free, ask away. Yeah.
kind of see if anybody has any others. So I've seen a lot in recent years. A lot of the trends for resumes are like Canva, for instance, has all of like those fancy resume templates that you can use and download.
Okay.
What is your opinion on those? Like, do you think people should use them or?
I will say, although they do look pretty, stay away from them because as you saw, even with in my part of the presentation, I spoke about applicant tracking systems. Applicant tracking systems have a hard time reading those formatted resumes because you have a block here with your name and stuff. You have a block here with your education. You have a block here with your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Just use a simple Word document, regular for resume because employers and applicant tracking systems tend to find those easier to read.
Okay.
Now, again, a lot of companies are utilizing applicant tracking systems where they're going to find keywords that are in there that match their job description, and it's easy for them to utilize a regular Word documented resume as compared to one of those formatted resumes that are in various different colors and boxes and sections. If it's hard for your eye to follow it, it's going to be very hard for an applicant tracking system to read it. So I would say, although they look pretty, stay away from those.
Okay. So then what if you're like a graphic designer and you want to use your resume to like show off your design skills? So could you still make that, but then have that be like the thing you take to like an in-person interview?
I would say, utilize a regular Word document resume to submit to an employer. Yeah. And you could actually have links to your creative work.
There you go.
So you can say, for images of my work, please click this link. You can take them to a YouTube, you can take them to your website, you can take them to another page. Now, when you go in person, then you can take that color portfolio resume with you because again, now that has gotten you, the regular document has gotten you in the door. Now that you're in the door, you can use that opportunity to show more of your creative side. And you could have a color resume with you and a formatted resume with you. But again, your work should speak for itself. So you can just have a simple regular document that takes them with the link and say, click on this link to see my work.
So focus on having like a portfolio as like a separate piece to show your experience versus trying to have your resume be your portfolio.
Yeah, right. Your resume should lead to your portfolio. Your resume should not be your portfolio.
There you go. That's a good way to say it, definitely.
That's a great question, by the way. I've actually never said those words in that way until you and I just had this conversation. But
Yeah.
let your resume lead to your portfolio, not be your portfolio.
There you go. You have a new catchphrase.
I know. I'm going to use that when I meet my graphic design and multimedia students this week.
There you go. Well, awesome. I don't see any other questions, so I think that's about it, Carl. Thank you so
Well, I
much.
would say that if they do have any questions, you can always email them to you, Maddie, and
Okay.
you can email them to me, and I'll respond back. But again, um, the great thing about your resume, the great thing about interviewing and things like that, your resume is a great foot in the door tool to get you into the door. But use those job descriptions and things like that to highlight what you want to say on your resume and utilize that to get you into the door. Once you're in the door, then you can sing your praises and get yourself noticed. But again, let your resume get your foot into the door, and the simpler, the better.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Carl,
Thank
and
you for
thank
having
you,
me.
FAU Career Center. This was awesome. As he said, if you have any questions after the fact, you can chat us on social media. You can email us, call us, and then we can definitely pass them along to Carl for his expertise. And yeah, we hope everyone has a great day. And thank you so much, Carl, again.
Absolutely. Bye bye, everybody. Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye bye.